If you want to get better at piano, you should find ways to improve your technique, your musicality, your hand coordination, your memory, and your mental strength as well. And this applies for pianists of all levels, from absolute beginners to seasoned professionals. So what if I told you that there is a piece that you can learn right now that can help you with those 5 aspects, no matter if you're a rookie or a pro, that it's only 2 pages long and it even sounds awesome? In this video you'll find out why this Bach Prelude is perfect for you as a pianist regardless of your skill level, how you should learn it to make the most of it and actually get better, and also what you should be doing to make it sound amazing. So let's start with the most important question: why you should learn it. This piece can make you a better pianist in the 5 different levels that I mentioned a second ago. So let's go one by one. On a technical level, it'll help you improve because it's full of broken arpeggios, which are a great exercise to make you move your fingers and work on the weight distribution of your hand. Also, this piece is a perfect workout for all your fingers of both hands, unlike scales or arpeggios in which you almost don't use your pinky finger at all. And last but not least, it's a great piece to practice different types of touch: staccato, legato, and everything in between. Then, on a musical level, it'll help you improve because you'll have to create an interesting story just with the dynamics, because unfortunately you are not allowed for any rubato at all. It's hard, but luckily there's a solution for that. We'll go deep into it in a moment. Then, apart from technique and musicality, it can improve your coordination and hand independence because it forces you to use different articulations in each hand. And it's possible that your hands feel stupid at the beginning because your legato hand will try to play staccato, your staccato hand will try to play legato, and so on. But that's completely normal, especially if you haven't played a lot of Bach before. I'll show you a very effective way to practice that. It also can improve your memory, because we humans memorize by recognizing and remembering patterns. And this prelude is full of them. And the best thing is, you'll learn the patterns in this piece, then you'll find them in other piano pieces that you'll learn later. Your brain will immediately remember them and you won't have to practice that much. And finally, it can test and improve your mental strength, your patience, because it has a couple of harder sections that will sometimes feel like a huge effort to learn, especially when you put your hands together for the first time. It'll demand a lot of repetition and slow practice until you get it right, and you may feel frustrated at times. But I promise it'll be a huge confidence boost once you get it under your fingers. If I already convinced you to learn this prelude, I recommend that you get yourself a copy of the learning guide I prepared just for you. It contains an optimal step-by-step learning strategy, a complete fingering guide, and another detailed guide for articulation and dynamics that'll always sound good. It'll be a perfect companion from your first day of practice all the way up to performance level. And now it's finally time to learn how to actually practice the piece. We will do it in 5 levels, but before, a little story. I'm sure you're familiar with this. This is the statue of David by Michelangelo, probably the most famous statue in the world. One day someone asked Michelangelo, "How did you create that masterpiece?" And he said, "Oh, it was actually very easy. I just took a giant chunk of marble and carved out all the unnecessary parts." Now, if you don't have a piano teacher who tells you what bits are unnecessary, you'll probably end up with a huge ugly rock full of holes when you want to learn a piece. But today, and for this prelude, I'll be guiding your carving tools. And let's start with the technique. There are 2 main elements in this piece: the streams of 16th notes and the jumpy 8th notes. We'll play all 16th notes legato and all 8th notes staccato. That's it! Just that! That's a huge amount of marble out already, and that's how most fast Baroque pieces are played anyway. The short 8th notes are actually easy. Start from a relaxed position, hands on the keys, curved fingers, not flat as you already know. And now, pluck the key as if you wanted to take it out from the piano towards you with the tip of your finger. Do it quickly and relax your hand after you're done. That's it. That's all you need to know about staccato explained in seconds. Don't do anything else. Don't jump with your hand or with your arm or tense your hand in the air or anything like that. Keep it simple. That's it. Now the 16th notes have a bit more complexity, but that's great because I'll show you more stuff you can learn. Pay attention because this is important if you want to play this piece fast at some point. We're gonna take 3 huge pieces of marble out now. First of all, release your fingers. I always see beginner pianists and self-taught pianists try to play something fast and keeping the notes pressed for too long for some reason. And it always sounds sloppy. Look. Playing fast is not about pressing keys quickly, it's actually about releasing them quickly. So when you're practicing slowly, make sure every note connects with the one before, but also concentrate hard on releasing that previous note. Now for the second tip, let me ask you a question. Do you think we should have our hand open for those arpeggios? Or keep it as closed as possible? Look, keeping the hand closed will allow you to feel the weight of your arm supporting each note, because you'll make your arm follow and support your fingers, which is fantastic. But if you open your hand and you're playing single notes, that weight will be disconnected from the fingers, and they'll have to make twice the effort. Also, do something for me now. Open your hand just a moment, like this. Do you feel the tension here and here as well? This is also what we want to avoid, because there's no playing fast when there's tension. Try to feel that when you practice. A closed hand and a good weight distribution. By the way, that's why you'll find this fingering in the learning guide and not this one. And third, avoid any extra movements you don't need. Forget about forearm rotation if you've heard that concept anywhere, and similar useless stuff like moving your hand in and out on the keyboard and that kind of thing. I tell you, YouTube is full of very bad piano advice. Doing those things will be like leaving a huge brick of marble in front of David's face. So quick recap. Release the keys, keep your hands closed, and don't make any unnecessary movements. Now let's move on to musicality. A great part of making this piece sound good is articulation. Playing staccato and legato correctly will be the difference between a bad rendition and a good rendition. But the difference between a good rendition and a great one is dynamics. Let's see 2 elements that will give you some clues of what to do with dynamics. The first one is the height of the notes. We know that higher notes usually have a higher emotional load, and that'll help us on 2 levels. The first and most important one is the big plan. Bach's keyboard only reached this high C, so the fact that he writes close to that note is quite a big deal actually. That helps us identify that the climax of the piece, the most intense moment, is here. And we'll build the dynamics of the whole prelude towards that climax. The second level is microphrasing. For every little phrase we play, instead of playing them flat, we'll try to draw the outline of the height of the notes with the dynamics as well. Listen. This sounds especially well near the end when the left hand starts the main melody at the same time that the right hand has a little rest. Look. Try to incorporate that from day one learning this prelude. And the second clue for the dynamics is repetition. Repetition always increases tension. For example, look at this measure. Do you feel the growing tension? So you can take advantage of those repetitions and play a crescendo there. That'll always sound good because it makes sense with what is written. This is the meaning of having good taste as a musician. Instead of coming up with your own ideas that probably make sense only to you, try to enhance what is written. That way you'll always create a performance that is beautiful and that is true to the music that the composer wrote. And now, with technique and musicality already covered, let's talk for a second about hand coordination. I told you that you may feel stupid at times when you have to play staccato on one hand and legato on the other. It may sound a bit like this the first time you try. And if you're an advanced pianist or a professional and you think you're beyond this, think that at some point you'll have students that will struggle with this too. What I'm gonna show you now is how to overcome this obstacle 3 times faster than just powering through frustration. I call this method the tactical pause. We'll stop the music and focus on one note that is played at the same time in both hands. For example, have a look at the very first note of the piece. The right hand starts a legato line because it's a 16th note, and the left hand will play very short because it's an 8th note. So we'll just play the first note and stop right there. If you did this correctly, you should hear the right hand note still ringing and nothing on the left. Repeat this a bunch of times until it's clear which hand has to stay and which hand has to go. We'll now continue playing until we reach the next note we play with both hands, and we do the same. Stop! And that way, step by step, stop by stop, each hand will learn their respective role independently. Then connect the small chunks you're learning, first with the tactical pause, then without the pause, and before you realize you'll be playing half of the piece already. The beginning is actually quite easy, but you'll arrive here at some point and you'll definitely need this strategy. You'll learn it extremely quickly if you follow those steps. And it feels so good when you finally get it right, I guarantee you. Let's move on. There's not much to say about how to memorize this piece. If you do the tactical pause approach and repeat every chunk correctly enough times, memory will come on its own. Both musical memory, in the sense of I know which notes I'm playing, and muscle memory too. But the interesting thing is, you'll learn these patterns, especially the arpeggios, you'll play other pieces with the same patterns, and you'll memorize them much faster because you already know them. And when that happens, the feeling is indescribable. It's a sense of déjà vu mixed with a surprise of how fast you're learning, and you'll feel like your brain is working at 110% capacity. I really hope you experience that one day if you still haven't. It's amazing. And now the last thing, mental strength. Let me tell you something. There's a reason why every single music student hates playing Bach. I've spent 15 years studying in conservatories. I met and talked to probably over 500 piano students of all levels and all ages. And do you know how many of them actually enjoyed playing Bach? Maybe 2 or 3. Nerds. But why is it like that? Well, we humans like to have our efforts rewarded. That's basic, natural, primal thinking. The thing is, learning Bach is a big mental effort, and the reward is very delayed. And when it comes, it doesn't come as a super emotional piano piece that will make everyone cry. Instead, the reward comes in the shape of a pianist that has better fingers, better control, better dynamics, better tempo, better articulation, better voicing, better everything. And then when you play those romantic, emotional pieces, you'll play them 100 times better. That's why in the learning guide, the first thing we do is spot the hardest passage and start from there. It's a great training for your patience and for your mental strength. Build your discipline from minute 1 and you'll become a super pianist. And if you want to continue learning, here's a video in which we explore 8 measures, just 8 measures of a piece by Rachmaninoff, and we discovered that anything you can ever learn about musicality and playing beautiful on the piano is within those 8 measures. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and see you next week.